No, I'm the boss. I'm the boss of you. And you are doing this because not your behavior is suboptimal, because you are bad. That's the difference. My behavior wasn't corrected. I was told I was bad. So last night I posted a short about the difference between the person and the behavior and all the trouble that ensues when we confuse the two. And I just wanted to talk about what I've discovered around that. For the longest time, I would go, oh, like, she's a bitch and he's an asshole. And I would get in the habit of labeling people and putting them in a box and watching my mind being so judgmental. That's a bad person, that's a good person, that's an ugly person, that's a pretty person, that's an okay person, that's not an okay person. And it's just turned on its head. And I realize every single being that is alive came in without belief systems, completely innocent. And we had to learn everything. Had to learn my name, had to learn that I was this body, I had to learn I was a good girl, I had to learn I was a bad girl, I had to learn I was an artist, I had to learn everything, not only about how to actually do what was in front of me task-wise, but I learned all of these beliefs. And in order to make sense, when I was a little person, of the people that were supposed to be taking care of me and loving me, acting in the opposite way, in order to make sense of that, as a child, I couldn't express anger back. Hey, don't do that. Because when I did, guess what I got? I got slapped, I got hit, I got in trouble. So it's not okay. I remember one time my mother told me this story when I was little. And she hit me for something, having fun, swinging on the curtains. I was a little bit of a wild child, but nothing that merited being hit. And I went up to my room and I got out my crayons and I colored the walls as far as my little hand could reach up. And she came up. Donna, what have you done? And I looked at her. So why did you do this? And I said, in my very innocent voice, because you hit me. Out of the mouths of babes. But that ability to be myself, to express, was squeezed out of me until I couldn't express what was true for me because it wasn't safe to do so. Wasn't safe to express anger. I get hit. I get called bad. No, you're bad. Stop being bad. When I was completely being wise, I was doing the best I could, saying, that's not okay. But, no, I'm the boss. I'm the boss of you. And you are doing this because not your behavior is suboptimal, because you are bad. That's the difference. My behavior wasn't corrected. I was told I was bad. And I believed that. And I internalized that. And I believed that who I was as a being was bad, was disgusting. There was something wrong with me. I wasn't lovable. I wasn't enough, or I was too much. Because people that didn't know about emotional maturity threw their emotions onto me and then blamed me for those emotions. And then I said, well, that must be true. And the result of believing those lies, I'm not enough, there's something wrong with me, I'm unlovable, is I'm bad. That was a big one. Was shame. Shame about being those things I never was. And so my body's natural ability to express anger, express sadness, express hurt, the way that babies do. In 1 minute they're happy, and the next minute they're crying, and then the next minute they're fine again. It's just like this river of emotions. But when we learn that river is not okay, that who you are is not okay, then we put this cap of shame over it, of unworthiness over it. And we believe that's who I am. And then in order to cover that up, because if I mistake myself for that layer, not the original layer, not the one who was bold enough and wise enough to say, I did that because you hit me, and I'm 3 or I'm 4, and that's the best I can do, because I can't hit you back. Wow, all my tantrums that I threw, I was convinced I was bad. I was never bad. I was mad because I knew the truth. Oh. So it was just a lie. All of them. Just lies my mind made up to make sense of what was going on. And then that layer of badness, that layer of shame, it's not even a real emotion. The real emotions are anger, happy, sad, mad, sad, glad, right? Shame is not an original emotion. We didn't come in with shame. We didn't come in with guilt. We didn't come in with depression. We didn't come in with anxiety. Those are lumped on top of those beliefs that aren't true. Now we have an adaptive strategy. Now we have another personality, one that believes they're bad. And so we believe that's bad ourselves, so we try to add another layer to compensate from that, because we don't want anybody to see that layer, because that's who we think we are. Not that. So we add perfectionism. We have people pleasing. We have being agreeable. We have all these adaptive strategies. So what's underneath can't be seen. The shame can't be seen. Compensatory patterns. But what we are is underneath all those layers. The way we came in, it was just a body without the ability to think, without the ability to believe I'm bad, I'm a girl. We're not even body identified when we come in. That happens at 2 or 3 years ago. 3 years old. I am this body. What was I before that? Wide open. Silent mind. But then we learn all these other things to survive, to survive, to survive, to survive. Survival is fear-based. And the behaviors come out of those adaptive strategies. We're so afraid of what we are. As soon as something triggers that, it's just like, ah, no, I'm not. Rah, attack mode. And so bad behaviors come from adaptive strategies. They don't come from who we really are. They come from our trauma. Bad behaviors come from whatever happened to us, what we made it mean about us. And if what we make it mean feels like crap, guess what our behavior is going to be? Crap. And you know how to tell when you see someone's trauma? Their face is like this. The face is like this. See, trauma is invisible. Those belief systems, they're invisible. But they inhabit the body. They take over the body. And we could see it in someone's expression. It's not the way anybody came in. We came in, 90 seconds later, we're hungry, change my diaper, I think specialists say 90 seconds for emotions. But what do we hang on to? We hang on to it for a lifetime. Hang on to that resentment. Hang on to that belief. And you see, our behaviors that are suboptimal come from that, come from being afraid we're not enough, afraid of other people, because other people are not safe. We depend on other people for our safety, and yet they're not safe. Double bind there. And when any creature is afraid, what does it do? Fight or flight, or fold, or freeze. You see? Behaviors are different than the person. None of us came in with the limiting beliefs and stories about ourselves that we made what happened to us our fault. None of us came in with that amount of pain. But we got to do something with it instead of feel it, because it's not safe to feel, so we project it. That's where bad behavior came from. Trauma. It was never us. And when we start to be able to recognize the difference between bad behavior and a good person, we start to be able to see the truth. I hope that made sense. Thanks for listening.